Turn to page 47 for the teacher write. The teacher write is a 5 to 10 minute activity in which you would model to students how a good writer thinks, and then also presenting how they plan, and then orally rehearse their writing, and finally write it out in front of the students. This takes more than a day to actually finish a piece of writing. At the end of this chapter, I'll actually go through a little schedule so that you can see what you would do each day for 5 to 10 minutes. And at the end, on Friday, you should have a completed piece of writing. Let's turn to page 47. On page 47, you'll see our research for modeling, but also I want to talk again about how we want to plan, talk, and write in front of the students, and then actually publish a piece of writing. When we do this, what we'll do is for 5 to 10 minutes a day, we will actually write in front of the students, either with a plan or orally rehearse our plan so that it actually sounds like writing, and then finally write it out so that it could be published. When we do the plan, talk, and write, what are we actually doing? That's something that I always kept asking. What do I do when I model in front of students? Well, our plan will have specific steps that you will follow in order to model how to write narratives, stories, expository writing, informative explanatory writing, or opinion writing. In this chapter, go through the narrative and the expository writing and then give you a weekly schedule. Let's turn to page 48 so that we can get started. On page 48, you'll see a picture of me standing in front of the students. I have an organizer here that is completed. So this is probably about Wednesday in my scheduled plan where I was following steps. Notice over here I have listed steps. The students are sitting on the carpet. They could be sitting in their seats, and you could be doing this on a document viewer. It really doesn't matter. You're just modeling to students how to write. And in this case, I had my steps over here of how I write a narrative, and then I was making an organizer each day using these steps and showing kids how I was metacognitively thinking. What am I doing as I'm planning this story? I'm following these steps. This is what I do when I'm planning a story. So I was making an organizer of a story, I was orally rehearsing it, and then if you look on page 49, this was an actual published piece of writing from this story, where after I finished planning it out, orally rehearsing it, I went back and I wrote the story in front of the students. Let's go to page 50 so I can show you this exact process, but I'll show it to you with the expository writing. Now on page 50, we have a plain piece of paper here. Now imagine this is a piece of butcher paper that you're going to be writing your plan on. On the other side of the paper are systematic direct instruction steps that you would follow, showing kids this is what I'm doing in my brain when I write. So we're going to follow these steps and fill out the organizer. So I'm going to model that in front of you, what it would look like for the kids. This is, again, 5 to 10 minutes a day. You're going to model to children how to write. In this case, I'm going to show you expository writing. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell the kids, boys and girls, I'm going to be writing information. What I'd like to do is I'm going to actually show you a piece of writing that you may want to present at the beginning of the year. Expository writing, informational writing, that's about classroom rules. So you introduce expository writing and your classroom rules at the same time. So what I'll do here is I want to show you exactly how I would do this with the students. Now I'm going to model to you what a teacher write would look like for expository writing. Now remember, expository writing or informational explanatory writing is part of your Common Core state standards. So of course I'm going to model that to the students. I want to show you how a good writer writes following these steps. This is one of our daily components of writing, 5 to 10 minutes a day. So my first step that I'm going to tell the kids is, boys and girls, I am going to give you information. I'm going to write information about the rules that kids follow in school. So when I follow the rules in school, this is what I always do. I always ask myself, what's the big idea? So when I'm writing information, what's the first thing I need to do? I say, what's the big idea? And then on my organizer, I'm going to get organized and draw my 2 boxes on my organizer for my big idea, to plan my big idea. So that was my step 1, get organized, draw 2 boxes. Step 2, subject. So I'm going to hold my hands like this, open them up and say, subject, who or what is this information about? Well, we're learning about the rules, so this information is about the students in our classroom. So look at those great students in our classroom. Before I go any further, I always rehearse. I practice talking the way I'm going to write. So I have my information in my subject box, and what am I going to say? The students. The peaceful students. The hardworking students. Maybe I'll say that. The hardworking students in our classroom. We have our subject, the students in our classroom. That's who we're talking about, the students in our classroom. So right now I'm going to practice that, the students in our classroom. And I would just model that in front of the kids where I'm writing my ideas by drawing a quick picture or keywords and then practicing how I'm going to write it. I need to go to the next step, and that is the big idea. What's the big idea? What's the big idea about the students in our classroom? Oh, the students in our classroom, they follow the rules. So I'm going to put a piece of paper here and write the word rules on it. I'm going to read my big idea. The students in our classroom follow the rules. And notice, even when I'm orally rehearsing it, I'm going to give different motions so that I'm also putting in physical cues as I'm planning this. So I'm going to say it one more time. The students in our classroom follow the rules. I have my big idea rehearsed. The students in our classroom follow the rules. Let's go to the next step. Step 4. Add fancy words. Can I go to my big idea statement and add any fancy words? Let me see. Who in this sentence or what in this sentence needs to be described? What's important? Well, I think the students are important, so I'm going to describe them. The hardworking students. I'm going to write the word hardworking students follow the classroom's rules. So, our hardworking students follow the classroom rules. We have our big idea. So let's go to our last step, punctuation time. I'm going to get out a red pen and I'm going to write the word our so that I can remember to capitalize it. Our hardworking students follow the rules, and I'm going to put a period there because that's the end of my sentence. So again, I'm just modeling this in front of the kids, thinking aloud what I'm doing at a nice rate. Let me go to my next step. I have my big idea. I followed the steps. What do I need? Let's see. Big idea. That's what all the information is about. Our hardworking students follow the rule. What do I need? Information, information, information to tell about that big idea. And what's the big idea? How they follow the rules. So let's see. I need to tell how the students, what they do when they follow the rules. Information, information, information to tell about how students follow the rules. So now I'm going over here and I'm going to follow these steps. These are the details. This is information about the big idea, how they follow the rules. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to first of all ask the students, boys and girls, do I have to tell these rules in a certain order, or they don't have to be in an order? They don't have to be in an order. So I'm going to draw a line here for my information box, and I'm going to now just ask my information question. If it was a sequencing, if they had to be in order, then I would say, what happens first? What happens next about the big idea? This information does not have to be sequenced. These are categories. So whole to parts. What am I going to do? I'm just going to ask, what is one rule students need to follow? Then when I go to write another detail, I'll say, what's another rule? So when you're writing information, you're either going to sequence the information or put it in categories. And how do you determine if you sequence or put it in categories? The big idea. Watch what we're going to do. I'm going to get organized. I'm drawing my information box. I'm going to ask, what is one rule students need to follow? So now I'm just going to draw a picture of the rule. This is absolutely important that you show kids this. One rule that students are going to follow is they always raise their hands. I'm just drawing the picture. I don't need to think about how I'm going to say the sentence. I don't need to do anything other than put my idea down. So I'm showing the kids, all right, here are our students. Here's one of our students raising their hand. So we know one of our rules is we raise our hand. Plan the idea. I'm not saying the sentence yet. I'm just showing the idea. I'm going to go back and reread so I can figure out this idea. Our hardworking students follow the rules. Let's see. Who's this about now? So notice I'm asking a question to form this sentence. Oh, this is about our hardworking students. Oh no, I can't keep saying our hardworking students, our hardworking students. Woo, 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 redundant police, redundant police. Good writers don't keep saying the same important words. You know what? I think I'm going to begin this sentence with the word they. That'll replace hardworking students. It means the same thing. I now will say they always raise their hands. So that's one of our rules, to raise our hands when wanting to speak. I have my idea, I've gone back, I've orally rehearsed it by drawing the detail. I have a different beginning. I'm not going to say students, students, students over and over again. This time I used a pronoun. So let's go over here just really quickly for different beginnings. And one of the things that we can do is we could use pronouns, proper nouns, or synonyms, other words for students, pupils, kids, children, in order to have that beginning subject. So our different beginnings are pronouns, proper nouns, synonyms, and sometimes signpost words. And in this case, the signpost words are not sequencing words because they're categories. We're going to do signpost words that deal with categories. So we may be using words like all, most, many, and those are different signpost words for our beginnings of our sentences. Now let's go back. After we've planned our different beginning, we have our idea. We're going to rehearse the whole piece. Our hardworking students follow the rules. They always raise their hands when they want to ask a question. Need to, my last step, add punctuation. So what do I need to do? I need to go back and add my capital. I'm going to repeat this process over and over and over again until I'm done with all the rules. So what is another rule? So now I'm going back and I'm going to repeat this part over and over again. So what do I need to do? Get organized, draw another detail box, and ask, what is another rule students need to follow? Oh, they need to keep their hands to themselves. So let's see, I'm going to draw a picture of students keeping their hands to themselves, or a student here. What do? I go back, repeat it, and then I'm going to see if I can add a different beginning. Our hardworking students always follow the rules. They raise their hand when they need to ask a question. Who am I talking about here? Our hardworking students, I don't want to add that. So what else could I do? Maybe I'll add a signpost word. All of them keep their hands to themselves. All of them. I think I'm going to change that to all our pupils. All the pupils, another word for students, all the pupils keep their hands to themselves so they are safe. That sounds good. So notice I keep saying the sentence over and over again until I like it. I'm modeling to kids how I just orally revise my ideas, and I'm forming these sentences over and over again. I'm going to capitalize A and put my period there. Again, I have more rules, so what do? I go back and I'm going to repeat this process again. I'm going to ask, what is another rule students need to follow? I'll make my detail box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show a student here, and I'm going to say, you know what? All my good students say thank you. So I'm going to show a student saying thank you.